Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and welcome to day 44 of our 100-day countdown to the best version of ourselves in the new year. I'm so glad you're here, and if you're just joining us, you are right on time. There is never a better moment than to choose health. So I'm glad you're here. As I suggested yesterday, I wanted to share about this interesting study. It was called the Minnesota Starvation Experiment. And it's haunting. The title alone is haunting in my mind, but when I think this took place in November of 1944, which was just at the conclusion of World War II, and right at the time that they were about to liberate all of the prisoners in the horrific concentration camps of Europe. And that's dear to my heart because I come from Russian Jews, and even my Uncle Earl, who's the Catholic side of my family, actually, was part of the liberation. He went in and liberated people. So anyway, it's a big part of my family. But God bless them with the starvation idea. So what it was conscientious objectors. Those are people who refused to fight but were willing to serve somehow, ended up being part of this project. And there were 400 healthy young men. They reduced it down to 36, and those 36 became the subjects, if you will. And basically for the first 3 months they had 3,200 calories, which is a really healthy amount, while they were checking their blood levels and doing all the research. And then for the next 5 months they were what's called semi-starved, meaning they gave them 1,600 calories. And on a standard diet like Jenny Craig, it's recommended that men have about 1,600 calories and that women have about 1,200. So it's not exactly starving. But when you combine all the other mental head trips regarding it, it did become starvation for them. And by the end, and I'm going to put the attachment down below, the men looked almost like the guys in the concentration camp. Every rib was showing. They were insanely skinny. And that was on 1,600 calories a day. So for 5 months, they were at 1,600 calories. And then for the last 4, they reintroduced food, which was the whole purpose of the experiment. They were trying to understand in Europe and America what they could do to help these people once they were released from the concentration camps to attempt to get their health and their life back. So it's really interesting. The mental part of it was incredible to read because these men got so insane over feeling deprived from food that they would actually coddle their food and play with it and try and make it last longer in their mouth and add water to their potatoes to try and make more. And, they acted like it was mud pies, and they just got insane. And then they didn't know the difference between depression and happiness. Like, they weren't attached to their emotions anymore after a while. And this is all within 1 year. That's how insane food deprivation can be. When we decide to limit our food, we're really screwing with our entire system. Seriously. And like even when people just do like a long-term fast, you can't just jump back into food. You have to work food back in. But often when people are losing weight, it's not just the lack of food, but their body is actually cannibalizing itself. It's pretty horrific. I mean, praise God we found the vegan diet, the whole food plant-based diet, and raw vegan certainly, where you can consume a healthy amount of calories and still maintain a healthy weight. And because of the nutrients per bite, you can have a tremendous amount of food, that of certainly the plant foods, and feel satiated. This was like a creepy thing. I think I could relate so much to it. That's probably what's creepy. I was thinking, so often we don't trust our children when we ask them whether they've had enough. And of course, sadly, with all the chemical-laden foods, our children can't even trust their body anymore to tell them when they've had enough. But when we were little, and certainly when I was little, and food was still largely healthy and plant-based, my parents, because there were 11 of us, and the children, I was the youngest, and the oldest was 12 years older than me. So when they put food on my plate, often the quantities were way too big. But they still had that mentality of eat everything on your plate, people are starving in China. And sometimes I would even just fall asleep at the dinner table. I couldn't eat everything on my plate. Also that idea of pleasing people, that it'll make mommy happy if you eat it all. That carried on into my life, where I would eat to appease my husband, eat to appease my father, try and make people happy, even in trying to be vegan, where people are saying, well, you can just have one bite, right, of, the toxic standard American diet food. And I have fallen prey to that. Luckily, not lately. I've gained a lot of momentum in my walk. But many times, well, yeah, I could just have a little. What the heck? Why are we pleasing people by eating for them? Why can't they be loving enough to not make us? And I know no one can make you eat, but you get it, right? So anyway, as I was reading this and just seeing the insanity, it was saying how, depriving yourself of food can lead to such mental anguish. And these people got to a point where they couldn't tell whether they were happy or if they were sad. And there was just insane depression. They couldn't remember to laugh anymore. This is common. When people are getting ready for bikini season, they are cranky nightmares, man. They are starving themselves, right? And this one guy even accidentally cut off 3 of his fingers. And when they asked, he couldn't say whether it was accidental or not. He was in such a warped frame of mind. These men who were all healthy, the 36 were chosen because they had no issues with food and they were the healthiest. And in just months, their relationship with food became totally distorted and insane. And even some of them were kicked out of the program because they were stealing food, which they never would have done in their life. What's my point? I don't know. My point is we have to choose God-given food, which of course has grown from the ground of, on the whole. We have to trust people when they say that they've had enough and not force them to eat more. And we have to just, understand that the body is an entire unit and that we will be affected by our food choices. When people are eating meat, one of my sisters keeps saying that she's just having fish. I'm like, it's dead, right? Yeah, but it's so good for you. It's dead, right? Yeah, but it has really good properties. It's dead, right? How are we trying to improve our life and the life of our body with dead things? For the little tiny bit of nutrient that's left before it rots? Really? It's dead. So it's pretty interesting. I just want to feed myself live food for a live body. No surprise, that's my Tanny Raw coming to mind. I memorized that girl because I was secretly listening to hundreds of her 2,500 videos. So I could get a grip on any of this before people were criticizing me and I could speak intelligently about it. I'm getting there. All right, that's it. I'm just tripped out by this. Read it if you will. Comment. Like this if you like. Join us if you haven't by subscribing and just let me know, what's up with you? I have starved myself intentionally, but it doesn't mean I didn't have the side effects of the insanity that goes with starvation. I have binged and been a glutton as well. Anything with food, but worse than that, it's that toxic, chemical-laden food. That's only a food-like product, if I'm honest. And that has made anything that I've done in that realm, far worse. Today, I'm just one bite at a time, one nutrient-dense, healthy, life-giving bite at a time. Okay, until we talk again, prayers all around for those people and those who are still suffering from eating disorders, and for you, be blessed.